Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Damage, issue number 2. So, right now we have Ethan after his last tryst in Atlanta. Apparently, he's still in Atlanta. They found him. He's like, you were shirtless and almost pantless. Oh, geez. So they grab Ethan Bruce Banner and they, you know what I mean, and they bring him into this homeless shelter. The comic goes really fast. Like the first issue went fast, this one goes fast too. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's just, yeah, let's just get rid of the storyline so we can go back to him destroying things. I'm gonna disagree. Destroying things is cute. You know what I'm saying? I guess maybe in the first couple issues it's fine, whatever, but I think that a story is more important. That's just the way that I feel about comics. Maybe I'd be like the least successful comic book writer, artist ever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm more about a story instead of just a beat 'em up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, even in Dragon Ball Z, for crying out loud, they stopped to have a conversation for a couple episodes in between a fight. so, so what we have here is Ethan just goes off on his own. The one guy goes and says, "Hey, listen, man." He gives him a fake name. He's like, "Yeah, my name's Everest, Dave Everest." You see somebody climbing a mountain. Good. That works. That works. So the guy says, "Listen, you're free to come back anytime, but no booze and no drugs. If you want to stay here, no booze, no drugs." Yeah, really great pep talk there, Chief. Awesome, awesome. This guy knows absolutely nothing about sociology, about psychology. You don't just tell somebody you can't do this, can't do that. If someone's homeless, there's a darned good chance that they're homeless because mostly for most, it's either a mental illness thing or for the most part, they just have no interest in being controlled anymore. A lot of these people are former military veterans. Gee, like Ethan, who's a current military veteran apparently anyway. But all these people, it's like, dude, I've spent so long taking orders from people. I just want to be me. Don't tell me what I got to do. You want to help me? Get help. Don't just say, you can't be here. You're like a mean parent who kicks you out of your home. Really, really freaking childish there. Anyway, that being said, so Ethan goes out and he gets bum rushed pretty much by the Task Force XL. Okay, so this is a new version of the Suicide Squad. Cool. So Deadshot thinks that he's a tough guy. He finds out really quick, you are useless. Parasite jumps after him. That's when suddenly Ethan turns into Damage. Too much energy for Parasite to take in, so he overloads. Interesting. And Giganna, she goes and steps on the guy, picks him up, and claps them together. Damage actually pops out through her hand. She's like, ah! And she even cries like a doctor. I'm losing 2 gallons of blood per second. I need a bandage. So, oh my God. So, it's funny. Her character is one of the best written characters in DC lore. I want you to really think about it. Like she's this ridiculously smart doctor, and then she becomes, super tall. She has this ability to grow to Giganta levels, and she can look down on people both physically now as well as their original intellectually. Just one of the best written characters basically ever. So, I can imagine her being the perfect consort for Hank Pym. Anyway, done. So Solomon Grundy comes after him. Born on a Monday, Christian on a Tuesday. Wolf. Deadshot's hysterical. He's like, yeah, wow, he took out Grundy. Like, he didn't even get to Wednesday. Are you kidding me? So basically, just when push comes to shove, he just cuts through the task force, and Wonder Woman shows up at the very end. So she shows up, she's like, everybody just calm down, I'm going to take care of this, I'm going to kick some booty here. And that's pretty much the end of this. Okay, again, there is practically no story here. The story is told in a couple of panels of flashback, which is cool. Me personally, like I said, I'm more about I need to see a lot more story, than just damage and literally than just damage, than just fighting. I don't care about the fighting as much. I actually want story for my comic book stories. But so far, they're doing a pretty good job. I'm not saying they're doing the best job, but they're not doing a bad job at all. All right, somewhere in between, okay? The world isn't black and white. And it's not even just black, white, and gray. There are at least 50 shades of gray. Just ask all the women who went to see that movie this week instead of seeing Black Panther. I mean, why? Anyway, I'm going to let that one slide. So there are lots of different shades of gray, okay, and a whole color palette. All right, you ever seen a box of Crayola crayons? So I like a little bit more story in my comics, but I am digging the way that they are telling the story. All right, you'd figure it's a very basic premise, yet it's effective. It's effective enough. All right, I'm still, like I said, I'm still reading. I'm looking at this like, I don't know, man, but I'm still reading. I am being drawn in a little bit though. Why? Because look, clearly this is here we go, rip-off character of the Hulk. Duh, obviously, right? But the cool part is they're giving us so many different versions of the Hulk, you know? Not only can he turn once every 24 hours or so into the Hulk for an hour, like the current version of the Red Hulk, but on top of that, he's got the killer instinct about him, and he's also sly, talking to Ethan while Ethan's still in the Ethan form. Meanwhile, Ethan can talk to him while he's in the damaged form. This reminds me a lot of the Gray Hulk. This character is gray, so he looks a lot like the ultimate version of the Hulk. There's so many different versions of the Hulk wrapped up in this damaged character. It's kind of hard to be hateful. All right. I'm enjoying it. And let's be real, like Mr. Fix-It has always been my favorite version of the Hulk. And if Marvel's not going to give me my Mr. Fix-It, darn it, then I guess I'm going to have to get him this way. This is good. All right. This is pretty good. I'm giving this comic book a B+. I'm enjoying the read. It's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? That, like I said, there's a lot of action. They're giving us, like, if they gave us one panel less of story, but like there's no story here whatsoever. They're literally giving us the minimal amount as possible. And I think that if their goal is to draw us along and give us just enough story to keep us reading, they're succeeding. They're succeeding, but that's a dangerous precipice to be standing on. You know what I'm saying? You're overlooking the abyss. You know what I'm saying? People just dropping off this. But again, this is actually pretty cool. I'm digging it. I'm digging it enough. It's hard to admit, but it's true. For a character with like almost no story, whatever. Anyway, I also do like that they had the Suicide Squad in this. I was hoping it was going to go on a little bit longer. All right, like just the idea of just throwing away villains and whatnot. I don't see the point in it. But the commentary in the background, that one old homeless guy, was one of the best stories, you know, for me. Like, that's just great. It's just like, oh yeah, man, I told you that was Doomsday. Nah, man, it's not Doomsday. There's no spiky things. Well, when I was living in Metropolis, man, I saw him. Okay, well, you know what? It's Tar Pit. Yeah, when I was in Central City, it's like, yo, how many places are you going to say you're from? Like, those two guys? Can we see more of those two? That was funny. That was funny. Anyway, the Abbott and Costello of the modern comic book world. So, I dug it. I would like to see a little bit more of that. Just whatever. Anyway, this is going on too long. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.